So far, we have been talking about variables, which can change its value during program's runtime. However, there are also many times when programs have data that does not need to change during the runtime. An example is a state sales text. Sales text is unlikely to change during a program's runtime. And it's also be placed in everywhere in the program. For example, California's sales tax may be 0.725%. If I need to use this value in different places, I will have to put this literal string 0.725 everywhere whenever I need to use it. This will make the program hard to read and understand. Also, if you want to change, if you need to change this constant, let's say California change its sales tax to 0.8, that will make things worse. That will make changing this value very bad because you need to go to every place to replace this 0.725 to 0.8. Java used a definition called constant to replace literal values. Constants allow the programmer to use a name rather than a value throughout the program. It gives a singular point for changing those values when needed. They keep the program organized and easier to maintain. These constants are actually identifiers that can hold only a single value. You define them the same way as you define a variable, but add a keyword final in front of the declaration. Constants need not to be initialized when declared. However, they must be initialized before they are used, or a compiler error will be generated. That being said, most constants are initialized when they are declared. So here is an example. You define a final, you put a final in front of a constant definition, like California sales tax. Once initialized with a value, constant cannot be changed programmatically. And by convention, constants are all uppercase, and the words are separated by underscore character. So this way, instead of using 0.725 everywhere in your program, you use this string. You use this constant name. When you need to change this text to 0.8, you change that in one place. You don't need to go over all your program to replace it. So we have variables and constants. Both variables and constant have a scope, something called scope. It refers to the part of a program that has access to a variable's constant, where you can access a variable or constant. Variables declared inside the method are called local variables. This is the same for constant. Local variables scope begin at the declaration of the variable, and the ends at the end of the method. So we have a scope.java. If I open it up, you will see there's an error. But think about the scope of this variable value. It's defined here, declared here. So its scope is between line 10 and line 11, where the method ends. Before this scope, or outside of this scope, the variable value does not have a definition. So in line 9, outside of the scope 9, 10, and 11, when you try to access the value variable, you get the error. What is error? The error says value cannot be resolved to a variable because variable value is not defined. You are outside of its scope. Okay,